Chile is the world's largest copper producer. Peru is in the global top 3. Brazil's iron ore exports run on the largest open-pit operations on the planet. Across the copper belts of the Atacama, the polymetallic mines of the Peruvian Andes, the iron ore terraces of Carajás, and the gold operations of Suriname and Guyana, South American mining was, for decades, a caterpillar-colored continent. The Cat 793F. The Cat 797F. The Cat 798. Yellow iron defined what a South American haul truck looked like. The Cat D11 dozer. The Cat 988 wheel loader. Yellow iron defined the entire support fleet. Then, segment by segment over the last 15 years, the Cat color started to share the haul road with Sandvik and Epiroc drilling rigs from Sweden, with Komatsu electric drive haul trucks from Japan, with Liebherr T 284 ultra-class platforms from a family-owned German-Swiss engineering company that has never had to file a quarterly earnings release. Caterpillar has not left South America. Caterpillar remains strong in specific segments. The Cat 798 fleet at the Escondida copper mine in Chile, supplied through Finning International, is still the workhorse of one of the largest copper operations on Earth. The honest story is segment-specific, and the segment-specific story is brutal. If this is your first time here, hit subscribe. We document the corporate decisions inside boardrooms in Peoria, Chicago, and Irving, Texas, that hollowed out one of the most respected industrial brands of the 20th century. The data tells the story. Before we get to which segments shifted and why, you have to understand what Caterpillar's position in South American mining used to be. Through the 1980s, the 1990s, and into the 2000s, Cat was the default mining truck supplier across the continent. The dealer network was the moat. Finning International South American operations across Chile, Peru, and Argentina were the most responsive parts and service organization operating in copper belt mining. When a haul truck threw a fault at 3 a.m. in the high Andes, Finning answered the phone. When a fleet replacement cycle came up, the Cat dealer team had 30-year relationships with the procurement officers. The Cat product line covered the full mining equipment stack: ultra-class haul trucks, dozers, wheel loaders, motor graders, water trucks, blast hole drills. The institutional muscle was real. The market share was substantial. The contractor running a major copper operation in Chile would have had to make a deliberate effort to spec anything other than Cat for the bulk of the fleet. That was the standard. The drift started in drilling and accelerated from there. Sandvik and Epiroc, both Swedish, both with deep engineering pedigrees in rotary and percussive drilling technology, started winning blast hole drilling contracts at South American copper operations through the 2000s and accelerating through the 2010s. The Epiroc Pit Viper rotary blast hole drill, in particular, became the workhorse of large copper porphyry operations. Pit Viper rigs are deployed at major Chilean copper sites, at Peruvian copper operations, at gold operations across the continent. The technology gap was not always large. The Caterpillar drilling product line existed and was capable. The decision gap was that Sandvik and Epiroc made drilling their core engineering identity. Their R&D investment, their product roadmap, their dealer training, their parts logistics were organized around the drilling rig as the center of the company. Cat's drilling line was one product line among many, fighting for internal investment against haul trucks, dozers, wheel loaders, and the corporate decisions in headquarters that increasingly prioritized share buybacks over R&D. Mine planners, reading the spec sheets and the operating cost data over a 15-year fleet horizon, increasingly spec'd Sandvik or Epiroc for new drilling fleet additions. The shift was not announced. The shift was made one procurement cycle at a time, one mine at a time, until the drilling segment across South American mining was substantially Swedish. The next segment was ultra-class haulage in the electric drive category. Komatsu's diesel-electric ultra-class platforms, including the 930E, started winning South American mining contracts, where the operating cost data favored the electric drive architecture. Komatsu's 1989 acquisition of the Hanomag heritage, combined with the 2017 acquisition of Joy Global, with its P&H rope shovels and Latorno wheel loaders, gave Komatsu a deep mining equipment portfolio that competed across the full stack. The South American mining operators that wanted electric drive ultra-class haulage increasingly chose Komatsu over Caterpillar, particularly in operations where the haul road profile and the diesel fuel logistics made the electric drive architecture the lower total cost. CAT's 797F mechanical drivetrain remained the king of 400-ton haulage in many South American operations. But the 400-ton mechanical segment is one piece of the haulage picture. The electric drive segment, the trolley assist compatible segment, the future-proof segment for the next 20 years of mining decarbonization, increasingly belongs to Komatsu and increasingly to Liebherr with the T284 platform. The corporate decision pattern at Caterpillar explains the gap. The headquarters left Peoria for the Chicago area in 2017. The same year, Komatsu was integrating the Joy Global acquisition and accelerating its mining equipment portfolio depth. The headquarters left Chicago for Irving, Texas, in June 2022. The same year, the bauma trade show in Munich, the global heavy equipment industry's signature event, was preparing to showcase the diesel-electric, electric drive, and autonomous mining equipment platforms that would define the next decade of mining haulage. Caterpillar executives were managing real estate. Sandvik, Epiroc, Komatsu, and Liebherr executives were managing engineering roadmaps. The internal allocation of attention and capital ran in different directions, and the South American procurement bid sheets reflected the difference. Quick break before we get into what happened next. If you're following how Caterpillar lost segment after segment, subscribe so the next one lands in your feed. Now back to it. Here is the Caterpillar win that has to be part of the honest framing. The Escondida copper mine in northern Chile, one of the largest copper producers in the world, runs a CAT 798 fleet. The CAT 798 is the AC drive ultra-class haul truck that represents CAT's most modern haulage platform. The Escondida fleet is supplied and supported through Finning International, the CAT dealership network that has been the strongest single CAT support operation in South American mining for decades. The Finning relationship at Escondida is genuine. The fleet works. The mine produces copper at world-leading scale on cat iron. The story of Caterpillar in South American mining is not the story of total abandonment. The story is segment-specific. CAT lost ground in drilling to Sandvik and Epiroc. CAT lost ground in electric drive haulage to Komatsu. CAT lost ground in family-owned diesel-electric ultra-class haulage to Liebherr. CAT retained meaningful share in mechanical drive ultra-class haulage in specific geographies through specific dealer relationships. The honest framing acknowledges all of this. The construction equipment side of the South American story has a different dynamic. Chinese manufacturers, including XCMG and Sany, have made meaningful inroads into South American construction equipment over the last decade. The Chinese inroads are most visible in compact equipment, in mid-size wheel loaders, in motor graders, and in segments where price competitiveness carries more weight than the institutional dealer relationships that protect CAT's position in major mining. Caterpillar's response to the Chinese construction equipment competition has been slower than European manufacturers' responses, and the result is a creeping share gain by XCMG and Sany in the South American construction equipment market that does not yet show up at the major mining operations, but does show up in the broader equipment market. The dynamic is factual, not moralized. The Chinese manufacturers built capable products at competitive prices and sold them. The American manufacturer responded slowly because the corporate decision-making in Irving, Texas is not optimized for fast product cycles in cost-competitive segments. The South American mining operator audience that watches this channel knows all of this in detail that no executive in Irving, Texas could match. The mine planner in Cerro Verde, the procurement officer at Collahuasi, the fleet manager at Antamina, the maintenance lead at Los Bronces, the operations director at Carajas all know which segments shifted, when they shifted, why they shifted, and what the total cost of ownership math looked like at the moment the procurement decision was made. The story is not abstract. The story is the accumulated procurement decisions of dozens of major mining operations across multiple decades, and the pattern that emerges from those decisions is the pattern this channel has been documenting across the entire heavy machinery industry. Corporate decision-making at Caterpillar that traded long-horizon engineering investment for shareholder primacy and slow real estate moves, and engineering-led competitors who saw the opening and walked through it. The Sandvik auto mine deployments at South American underground operations have a depth that the surface equipment story does not always capture. Sandvik's underground autonomous loader haul dump platforms have deployments at major South American underground copper, gold, and zinc operations. The autonomy logic in underground mining is structurally different from surface autonomy because the underground environment has constrained haul routes, lower ambient lighting, more stable but more confined operating geometry, and a different safety profile for the autonomous fleet supervisors and the human operators sharing the underground space. Sandvik has built the engineering muscle to solve those underground autonomy problems through 20-plus years of underground deployment data. The Caterpillar underground product line exists, but the CAT underground autonomy footprint at major South American underground operations is meaningfully smaller than the Sandvik footprint, for the same structural reasons that drive the surface equipment competitive picture, focused engineering investment over decades, accumulated deployment data that compounds, and a corporate culture that treated underground mining as a core identity rather than one segment among many fighting for internal R&D resources. The Komatsu and Joy global integration deserves attention because the combined product portfolio gives Komatsu a depth in South American mining that Caterpillar's product portfolio increasingly cannot match. Joy Global brought to Komatsu the P&H rope shovel line, including the 4-100 XPC and the 4-800 XPC electric rope shovels that are the standard high-tonnage loading platforms in major copper porphyry operations across Chile and Peru. Joy Global also brought the Laterno line of large wheel loaders, including the L1100 and L2300 series, which compete with Cat 994 wheel loaders in the largest copper and iron ore loading applications. The combined Komatsu Joy global product portfolio, after the 2017 integration, covers the full mining equipment stack from underground haulage, through surface haulage, through hydraulic shovels, through rope, shovels through wheel loaders, through drilling, with deployment scale at major South American operations. That gives Komatsu a procurement bid presence that CAT increasingly competes against rather than dominates. The CAT dealer network through Finning still carries weight in specific procurement decisions, particularly where the long-term parts and service relationship carries the bid. The deployed fleet advantage that Komatsu accumulated through the Joy global integration, plus its own organic ultra-class haul truck and electric drive programs, compounds in the procurement direction every year. The Liebherr R9-800 and R9-600 hydraulic shovels deserve a brief mention because they represent another segment-specific story where European engineering has taken share from Caterpillar in South American mining loading applications. The R9-800 is the world's largest hydraulic mining excavator, with operating weight in the 800-ton range, deployed at major copper and iron ore operations across multiple continents, including South American sites. The CAT 6000D hydraulic mining shovel was a competitive product, but Caterpillar's strategic commitment to the ultra-class hydraulic shovel segment has been uneven, and the company has been less aggressive than Liebherr or Komatsu in driving the segment forward over the last decade. South American mining operators specifying high-payload hydraulic shovel fleets increasingly run Liebherr against Komatsu PC 8-1000 in the procurement decision, with CAT appearing in smaller class loading applications rather than at the top of the segment. The pattern is consistent with the broader segment-by-segment shift that this video has been documenting. European and Japanese manufacturers compounding focused engineering investment in specific mining equipment segments, while Caterpillar's corporate decision-making in Irving, Texas, has been distributed across too many priorities and constrained by the shareholder primacy operating model. The Chinese construction equipment inroads into the broader South American equipment market deserve a factual rather than moralized treatment. XCMG and SANY have built capable products at competitive price points and have grown their presence in compact and mid-size construction equipment categories, where price competitiveness carries more weight than the institutional dealer relationship moat that protects CAT in major mining. The Chinese inroads are visible in motor graders, in compact wheel loaders, in mid-size excavators, and in the broader construction equipment market across multiple South American countries. The Caterpillar response has been slower than the European response would have been to similar competitive pressure, partly because the CAT product portfolio is distributed across too many segments to allow focused defense of any one segment, and partly because the corporate decision-making in Irving, Texas is not optimized for fast product cycles in cost-competitive market segments. The dynamic is part of the broader market picture in South American heavy equipment, and is worth noting for completeness, even though it does not directly affect the major mining equipment procurement decisions that this video has primarily focused on. Caterpillar remains a major supplier in South American mining. The CAT dealer network through Finning International across Chile, Peru, and Argentina is the most responsive parts and service organization in South American mining. The CAT 798 fleet at Escondida is a genuine win and a real piece of business. The accurate framing is that CAT has lost ground in specific segments where engineering investment and corporate culture would have made the difference, and held ground in segments where the dealer relationship and the historical install base carried more weight. The trajectory question is whether the segment-by-segment loss will continue to compound over the next decade as fleet replacement cycles bring more of the existing CAT install base up for review, or whether Caterpillar's corporate decision-making in Irving, Texas will at some point reverse course and reinvest in the kind of long-horizon engineering that the family-owned and engineer-led competitors are, using to win the next decade business. The Brazilian iron ore story is worth a brief mention, because it represents one of the largest single mining equipment markets in South America, and has been a Caterpillar stronghold that is now under competitive pressure. The Carajás iron ore complex, operated by Vale, the world's largest iron ore producer, has historically run CAT haul trucks alongside other suppliers, with the Finning equivalent dealer network in Brazil providing the parts and service backbone. Komatsu has won meaningful share in Brazilian iron ore haulage over the last decade, particularly in the electric drive ultra-class segment. Liebherr has presence in Brazilian mining loading applications with the R9-800 hydraulic shovel. Sandvik and Epiroc have taken share in Brazilian drilling. The Caterpillar position in Brazilian iron ore remains substantial, supported by the institutional dealer relationship moat, but the directional shift is visible across the same segments, documented elsewhere on the continent. The Vale procurement decisions over the next decade will be a meaningful indicator of where the broader South American mining equipment market is heading, because Vale's fleet scale and procurement influence shape the supplier expectations across the wider Brazilian mining sector. The pattern from the rest of this channel's coverage suggests the trajectory is more likely to continue than to reverse. The Boeing parallel suggests the trajectory is hard to reverse once the corporate culture has shifted. The autonomy gap with Komatsu suggests the lost first-mover positions are hard to recover. The right to repair fight suggests the captive market business model is being defended rather than unwound. The diesel-electric drivetrain gap with Liebherr suggests the structural engineering disadvantage will compound as mining decarbonization accelerates. South American mining will see all of these trajectories play out at scale, because South American mining is one of the largest single mining equipment markets on the planet. If you've operated heavy machinery in South American mining in the last decade, drop the operation and the brand in the comments. Tell me when the drilling rigs shifted to Sandvik or Epiroc. Tell me when the haul fleet went Komatsu electric. Let's see how many of us watched the segment-by-segment switch happen on real mine sites. Every mine planner who spec'd Sandvik drilling or Komatsu electric haulage a decade ago saw this coming long before the boardroom in Texas admitted it. The fuel bills told the story. The cycle time data told the story. The dealer responses told the story. The smart professionals read it early. The MBAs are still pretending they didn't. See you in the next one.